Hello again. Like most people, I've grown a little irritated in recent years when I've seen the police wasting their time on nonsense like visiting people who have made jokes about homosexuals or transvestites or have not been sufficiently respectful of Islam. Since I pay their wages via my council tax, I think I have a right to be annoyed if the police spend their time on things like this rather than keeping the streets safe and protecting our homes. I dare say that viewers are well aware that the most they're likely to get if they report a burglary or car theft to the police these days is a crime number so that they can claim on the insurance. There is an official policy as well of not becoming involved when shops catch people stealing their stock, unless the value of the goods is more than £100 or so. You don't need to be a professional criminologist to guess what the consequence of such policies is likely to be. Namely, that thieves will get the message that they can operate with impunity and that the police are too busy to worry about them and their depredations. Of course, this is precisely what has happened over the years. The less interest that the police show in burglaries, the bolder the burglaries become, and the more frequent. After all, if the police aren't going to attend the scene of the crime and take fingerprints and so on, then what is there to worry about? Then too, if a householder should take the law into his own hand and bash you, then he's just as likely to end up in court as you are. A couple of police forces decided a while ago that this was a dreadful way to carry on, and they devoted resources to bringing down the number of burglaries. They didn't need any new technology to do this, nor did it require some complicated new procedure. All that the police in Northamptonshire did was to start sending police officers to the scene of every single burglary to gather evidence and reassure the householder that they were taking the crime seriously. It did not take long for burglars to catch on and realise that the rules of the game had suddenly changed. Would anybody care to guess what happened to the number of domestic break-ins in the county of Northamptonshire between 2019 and 2021 once this new policy was in place? Why, yes, that's right. They went down very sharply. In fact, they halved. In 2019, there were 5,500 burglaries in Northamptonshire. 2 years later, in 2021, there were just 2,850. A fall of 50%, in other words. In nearby Bedfordshire, a similar scheme was put in place, and when scene of crime officers began gathering forensic evidence following every burglary of somebody's house, the detection rate tripled and the number of burglaries fell precipitately. All this is just being achieved by the police doing what they did as a matter of routine throughout the 20th century, which is to say investigating crimes like burglary and doing their best to catch those responsible. Northamptonshire have also been publishing photographs and names of wanted burglars, which once again used to be common practice, but which some police forces have been worried about because they say it's a breach of the Data Protection Act and a violation of the human rights of the burglars. Even better, in Northamptonshire, the police sent Christmas cards to all the people whom they suspected of burglary last year, just to let them know that they were being watched. I often moan about things in modern Britain of which I disapprove, but I'm happy to say that at least some people in today's society appear to have the right idea now about priorities. In the description to this video, I give a link to a news item covering this heartening piece of news.